Right, I wanted to share with you the latest update and the things we're working on as they pertain to the greater gameplay and the playability of the game. So up until now, the previous build only offered combat gameplay, which is here in the Gauntlet menu. Now we're expanding the sandbox mode, which is the very dense scene in which we have all our systems laying around as individually testable things. And so we are implementing the structure that will allow us to essentially gather them into an umbrella of common gameplay. So let's go take a look. In case you haven't seen them before from previous dev snippet videos, as they are on our Patreon, on our Trello, you will see here that the dev scene is a complete mess. That's completely normal. So I will explain that in a second. So this is what I meant. There's all kinds of stuff laying around all over the place. There is this thing collapsing into ruins. All those things serve us to test and experiment with the individual specific systems that we built. Even the UI is in complete chaos. But what we're going to do now is we're going to move over there. So as you can see here, you have ruins. Ruins are used as the arena in the Gauntlet mode, and in the Gauntlet mode, which is detailed elsewhere. When you enter the ruins, you get several goals and objectives, and wave after wave of bots through which you must complete those objectives. So where we're going now is to that giant grid in the distance. And this is what we've been building up this past week. Don't mind the rabbits. They sometimes wander into the grid, but that's another story. So the thing, like I was describing, was that we had all those systems, as you can see them over there, but no unifying game structure. And this is what this is. This is the role that this is fulfilling. So in the campaign sandbox main game mode, you will be building a base in an open environment, in an open world. And the open world is divided into cells, and each cell may contain various things. It could be obstacles, it could be features, it could be all kinds of stuff like that that you will be contending with to either extract resources, eliminate danger, explore, and later on trigger events. For example, you may want to trigger a hunt. I heard a voice. Anyway, sorry about that. There was something playing in the background. So you will be triggering events. For example, you may want to send some of your NPCs or characters to gather some resources, or to hunt for food or for glory, and so on. So this cell system, this grid system, is central to this because it symbolizes the open world that you will be dealing with. Right now, of course, it is in its most basic form, which is literally a grid. But later on, obviously, the mechanics and features of this grid will be overlaid onto the actual game world. So when we enter the grid, we deal with a situation. And in this build, all situations are the same, and that's what I'm going to show you. I enter here, bots spawn. And so, as you can see, beneath day 1, there is a little bit of text which says occupied by 3 hostiles. So I will deoccupy the cell by getting rid of the hostiles. Whoa, they are a bit fierce. I better not get pushed into the other. Yeah, well, there we go. So I got pushed into the other cells, and obviously the other bots spawn. This is getting difficult, actually. I'm getting ganked. Old school ganked. So let's get rid of those guys, which is funny because right now it says occupied by 2 out of 3 hostiles, but I actually have 3 hostiles on. So the system is a little bit mixed up. There we go, cleared. So what we do is we clean up the hostile presence and we clear the cell. And what we can do next is we can claim the cell. So as you can see at the top of the screen, cleared came from cell occupied, so now it's now cell cleared. And as I claim this cell by clearing it, obviously at the top of the screen it says claimed. And so that will be the idea. There will be a whole grid of situations and conditions. Right now, like I said, for testing purposes and because we haven't yet implemented all the rules, it's always bots to defeat, always 3 bots to defeat. We can configure their difficulty, the number, and so on. But right now, in this particular video, it's going to be 3 bots to defeat. So I better not get defeated myself. Okay, so now it's 2 out of 3. There we go. And one last bot. Hopefully. There we go. So cleared. And again, I cleared the cell. So right now, clearing the cell obviously doesn't do much, except for turning this thing into a green cube. But clearing the cell will then be the first step to doing other things, like, for example, reclaiming the cell. The entire idea is that you will be building your base, your home, your household, your homestead, and you will upgrade it throughout stages. I think there are 8 or 9 stages of upgrade of your main base. Each stage of upgrade unlocks new facilities. So you will want to harvest resources and build outposts for different functions. Some may be guard outposts. Some may be resource harvesting outposts, like for instance a logging camp, a hunter's lodge. So the first thing you need to do is spot an interesting resource cell, a cell containing basically interesting resources, and go there, clear it when needed, and then claim it. And of course, claiming the cell may have adverse effects, like it may attract attention from other bots and so on. So the next update after this will be to actually spawn real features on the cells, in the cells on the map, enemy camps, resource nodes, items, and stuff like that, so that we can more appropriately test the mechanics. So that will be it for now. This was the really basic thing I wanted to show you. I could show you a lot more, like how each cell can be configured and so on, but we'll get into that another time, especially when everything works fine. This was a pretty significant update because even though it seems small, it's a pretty big step for the whole design of Winterfall, because like I said, up until now, and for all those years, we had mostly been working on individual specific new mechanics, like mechanics not quite done before. Those are detailed on the Trello, urges, environment mood, and stuff like that. So all those mechanics were nice mechanically, basically. Stuff to be proud of, at least I sure am, because I think we did some pretty interesting work in those areas. But they didn't integrate into gameplay. So that made them very, very abstract. And so now we have an actual grid into which to integrate over time those systems, so that they're not just little toys in the background, but in fact game features, gameplay features. So thank you for your attention, and I'm going to upload this video now. Take care.